Hey there, welcome back to another video. I have decided to make a video exploring the technical aspects to a theatrical production that I worked on in 2020 and the overall setup of the show. Yes, I know, almost 2 years ago this show was, and I'm only just making a video about it now. But let's not worry about that. Let's get started. This theatrical production was called To My Younger Self, where the actors took the stories of complete strangers and explored what it would be like if we could send a message to ourselves in the past. This production ran for a total of 5 performance nights throughout a week and ran for about 60 minutes each show. Many of the scenes throughout the show reflected on the COVID-19 lockdowns that occurred throughout most of the world in 2020. This was the first theatrical production that was open to the public since the redevelopment of the theatre and the foyer of the site. Along with the upgraded facilities came a bunch of new and exciting refurbishments and new technology, which I will show you in this video. This video is going to be split into 3 different segments, including lighting, sound, and the overall design of the set. On this production, I sadly did not get to operate the lighting, but a colleague of mine did. The lighting design was conducted by Tyler Fitzpatrick. The entire design of the show revolved around the 360-degree stage design, or as we called it, the in the round seating. This posed a very interesting challenge for the lighting elements of the show, as we had to place the same fixtures around each of the 4 sides of the stage in order to maintain an even wash of light on stage. The lighting design consisted of a lot of ETC Source4 profiles that were recently bought as a part of the theatre's upgraded facilities. Many of them were placed within the rig up in the ceiling of the theatre for a general wash over the stage, while some of them were placed on booms on the floor for an interesting effect and to light the rest of the people's bodies. Furthermore, we utilised 4 LED quad bars from Showtech as a wash over the general stage area. For controlling all of these fixtures, we utilised a brand new lighting console from ETC, which was the ETC Element 250 channel version, which was bought after a recent funding grant from the government. This was a fantastic lighting console to use, as the lighting console we were planning to use was the Strand Lighting 520i, but that broke a couple of months prior to the show. I was the person who was in charge of running the sound elements on this show. I utilised a MacBook Air from 2012 running QLab and Spotify to play various sound effects and score throughout the show. This laptop ran out of an old Mackie analog sound desk via 3.5mm to balanced 1/4-inch inputs. We did not have any microphones at all, as the space was very small and didn't have a lot of people in the audience. Only around 20 people in the audience for each run of the show, so we decided that we didn't need microphones. We utilised 2 JBL passive tweeters and an old subwoofer connected into some old amplifiers backstage. We had to place the tweeters differently to our usual setup. Instead, we placed the tweeters like this so that everyone in the audience could hear them. We stuck the subwoofer behind the stage, which was still very close to where the audience were seated. Overall, this sound setup provided pretty okay coverage, but it wasn't great, as there were a couple dead spots, especially when you were sitting at the back of the stage. You couldn't hear it as well as the people who were sitting in the front or in front of the speakers. As I mentioned before, the entire show revolved around the square stage in the middle of the theatre, where the audience sat on each side of the square, socially distant from each other while wearing masks. In the middle of the stage was a plinth, a tall plastic box with a musical metronome placed on top of it. On one of the show nights, the metronome smashed to the floor as one of the actors accidentally knocked it. In this case, one of the actors started clicking their fingers to the same BPM, which is essentially how many clicks the metronome was doing per minute, but for most of the show until their hands started shaking and playing up. Furthermore, there were also a variety of letters on the floor of the stage, symbolising the stories that strangers wrote to their younger self. These were in fact letters from the audience, cast and crew during the COVID lockdown, and these were read out throughout the show. Overall, this was a fantastic production to work on due to the interesting nature of having to open to the public while being COVID safe, and due to the interesting in the round stage and seating design. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting or informative, please consider subscribing and maybe watching another one of my videos. Thank you for watching and supporting me, and have a fantastic day.